Hey guys, Jeremy here, and as promised yesterday in the mail, I got the NECA Toys Apollo Creed from Rocky IV, Series 2 of this whole thing they got going on. And Apollo has been the figure that I wanted more than any other figure, including the Ivan Drago with the messed up eye. Did a review on that earlier this week. I'm going to leave a link in the card so you can check that out if you want. But this is the main event, the main attraction. I got this guy from a website called AtomicEmpire.com. And the crazy thing is, they were selling him for like $16.99 or something. It was underneath retail, $16 or $18. And I thought, is something wrong with it? Does it come loose with no accessories or anything like that? And it wasn't the case. They were selling at retail. The shipping was very cheap. The tax was non-existent. And in the end, I paid like $20 for them, a little over $20, under 21 actually. The only problem with that is the shipping took a very long time. It took maybe about 2 weeks for this to get to me, and I think Atomic Empire is based like in North Carolina or something like that, so that was the only downside, but just amazingly the cheapest that I have ever seen this figure anywhere. And I also will leave a link to Atomic Empire, the page that has all the NECA Rocky stuff, so if you want to check that out, maybe they will have that there on sale as well. Anyway, this is one of the only figures, I think Rocky is the other one, that actually comes with another interchangeable head, and he also has some accessories as well. Well, he has the hat, and then he also has the interchangeable head. So that is awesome. The writing on the back is the same thing as it was for Ivan Drago. It just gives you a synopsis of what Rocky IV is. But yeah, this is the one that I always wanted. So let's crack him open, take a closer look at him, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna be all right. Is there anything I can say about this figure that you weren't already expecting? And I don't really think there is. Bottom line here is, I love this figure. I think it's great. It's Apollo Creed. NECA, again, did a very good job. Some of the same things that hold back NECA figures is present with Apollo, such as the articulation. That's really the main point. But then the things that make me keep going back to NECA, because they're so darn good at it, is the detail, the quality. It's all there. Now with Apollo, it's a little bit different than Ivan Drago, because of course Apollo only had one fight in Rocky IV before he died. So in order to give us sort of two different variations, we got an interchangeable head for Apollo, and then we also have his ring uniform when it came down to James Brown's Living in America. That's pretty much what makes this figure right here. The outfit, all decked out, and the American flag, basically. This whole movie was in the 80s, so it was about, you know, tension, Soviet Russia and the United States. So Apollo was really heavy on the patriotism, to his detriment, unfortunately. But this is a type of style that, you know, you normally would never get, and it's hard enough to get an Apollo Creed figure in the first place. So that right there makes this figure a must-have anyway. I applaud NECA's decision to include an interchangeable head with Apollo, because he's different than Clubber Lang or Ivan Drago, because those characters fought 2 times in Rocky III and Rocky IV, whereas Apollo only fought once. So where NECA can sell 2 figures, mostly based upon the fact that their ring attire was a little bit different from fight to fight, Apollo only had 1 fight. So I'm glad that they included that interchangeable head to, you know, sort of give us that separate appearance for him. Now, at the same time, this wonderful jacket that Apollo is wearing with the American flag all around and the tassels on the side is really well done. I think that this is a really great addition to this figure. But however, a downside to something like this is it's very hard to take off. In fact, I don't even want to take this off because it would frankly require too much of a struggle. And that's what you tend to get with these type of accessories that are sort of rubbery and plasticky, and I'm not too sure what the material is. Probably just a soft plastic, but it's very rigid. So you see, it's difficult to try to take it off because you have to get it above his arms. At the same time, because this is on him so well, it hinders the articulation. So if you try to raise his arm, you're only going to get it up to be about that high. You can't go higher than that because this is hindering it. I'm not going to say, well, they should have used cloth to put over Apollo so that it could move a lot easier. You know, I understand why they didn't do that. It helps to keep the cost down and everything like that, and I get it. But just so you know, this is very difficult to take off, and it will hinder your articulation. You can't even really get him to raise his arm off to the side. Although the articulation is capable of that, it really hinders the type of poses that you can get with it. Over on the back, it sort of looks like maybe you can take it off from the back, but you can't. It kind of stops like right around here, so you won't be able to do that. But you can take it off if you're diligent enough and if you really wanted to. And of course, the body sculpt underneath all of this with Apollo's seriously ripped body is very good, and the skin tone is very good as well, and I like that. I also like the hat that he comes with, so like the Uncle Sam hat. It works really well. It's a nice fit. You know, I can lift him up and he just sort of dangles off the ground like that. So it's a really nice fit. I'm glad that it's not very loose. I'm glad that they took proper care to get that done. Now let's take a closer look at the other head that Apollo has. So popping off the head is not difficult at all. You just sort of go up like this and it comes right off. And you got the little peg there on the bottom. And at this point, it's just a matter of putting the correct head on. And there you go. Now you might have to, you know, arrange it maybe once or twice more just so you can make sure that hole is nicely secure down in that peg. But you know, it's not difficult at all. You saw how quickly I did that. And this is a very nice head sculpt for Apollo Creed. In fact, I think this is probably my favorite of these two. Because on the head sculpt where he's smiling, he's got like some black paint on his teeth, so you know it makes his teeth look kind of dirty. But this stern, you know, right before the fight expression that he has right here, I think is really good. And I would almost be tempted to keep this head sculpt on instead of the other one if it wasn't for the whole United States flag gimmick and him being very happy and jovial as he went to the ring. If it weren't for that aspect, I would probably keep this head on because I think that this head is superior to this one. So now we got to do the height comparison between Ivan Drago and Apollo Creed. Now Ivan is taller than Apollo, not by a whole lot, but he is taller than Apollo. But as we can see these two figures right here, it looks like he's not quite tall enough. I think he just barely inches over Apollo, but not to the extent as we saw in the movie. So I can tell that his stature is larger. From a distance, it's probably not going to make a difference. But if you're really particular about that kind of thing, the height difference between Drago and Rocky is a lot more apparent and a lot more realistic than Apollo and Drago. All in all, this is a very good figure, as expected when it comes to NECA things. And it's also pretty rare to get. If you look at some of the past Apollo Creed figures that NECA has released, they go for a pretty penny online. This one will cost you retail price about 20 bucks. If you want to go back and get some of the older ones, those are going to cost you upwards to $100 and maybe even more depending on where you get them from. So this is really a no-brainer for fans of the Rocky franchise and Apollo Creed. This is just really good to have all these wonderful characters from these fantastic movies, except for Rocky 5, right next to each other on your shelf. They'll make a really great addition to your collection. And I hope that these do well at retail, because maybe then NECA will bring back some more. I know it's not a whole lot of characters that you can go on for the Rocky series that people want to buy, but maybe bring back the let's just say the battle damaged versions. We get some blood, some swollen faces going on. Rocky was pretty brutal when it came to the face demolition that those movies presented. But I would like to see another run of those for those of us who weren't able to get it the first time around. So thank you guys so much for watching this review. And remember, if you're interested in picking this up, I will leave a link to where I got it from, and hopefully you can luck out and pay the same price, if not lower, than I did to get this. And also be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell next to the subscription button so that you can be notified whenever I upload another video, be it about toys, action figures, or whatever. So again, thank you guys so much, and until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I will talk to you later.